How to choose your career, how to decide what you're going to do with your life. Getting the answer to this is not easy most of the time, and honestly, a lot of people don't have this figured out at all, no matter what age they are. This is something that you have to figure out on your own time. It's not a race, but I know that there's the expectation and the pressure to choose a career, and I know how intimidating and overwhelming that can be. So I decided to make this video, which hopefully can help you get closer to your answer. Hi, welcome to my channel where you will find lifestyle and fitness content. My name is Michelle, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you some tips that can help you choose a major slash career that you like and one that hopefully you can actually see yourself working in the future. These are some tips that I learned from experience and some that I learned during my vocational guidance process. So hopefully at least one of them can be useful for you. Alright, so let's start with tip number 1. Identify your skills and abilities. This tip is really straightforward, and if you're like me and you feel like you don't have any, don't say that. We all have them. You just have to figure it out, and I know that's not easy. It's really hard sometimes. So if you're struggling with it, you can ask people who are close to you, and that can be a good starting point. Also, you can take some tests or quizzes online, or if it's possible, you can work with a psychologist, which is what I did. And once you identify your skills and abilities, try to match them with career options. Then we have tip number 2, which is connected to the previous one. And this tip is to identify the things you like to do or the topics you're interested in. This is also really straightforward. Think about the stuff you enjoy to do, but careful here. I'm not saying monetize your hobbies, more on that later. What I'm saying is to just make a list of the things you like. They can be topics or activities, and just like you did with the skills and abilities list, try to match them with career options. And once you have that, you can check if there's any overlap between them and the career options from the skills and abilities list. If there is an overlap, keep an eye on those majors and do research about them, because they could end up being really good options to consider. Tip number 3. Be wary of the whole monetize your hobbies thing. Look, I'm not saying it doesn't work. It is like everything. It can work for some people, but it might not work for others. So be careful. Don't use it as your only way to determine what you want your career to be. Remember that not all hobbies are meant to be your career path or a side hustle. If you monetize your hobbies, there's a chance that you might end up resenting them, and hobbies are supposed to make you happy. So really think it through before you follow the advice of monetize your hobbies. Okay, so the next tip is to analyze your childhood dream jobs. If you're completely lost and you don't know what you want to study, take some time to think and remember what you wanted to be growing up and see if there is a pattern. Once it occurred to me to analyze my childhood dream jobs, I realized that there was a pattern. Because when I was a kid, most of my dream jobs were related to healthcare, and I was really interested in learning stuff about it. And this info about myself helped me realize that I am interested in healthcare. So yeah, for this tip, you're going to have to do some self-analyzing. You're gonna have to connect with your inner child, and this tip might not necessarily work for everyone, but I believe it's worth a shot. Tip number 5. Interview people who studied the major you're interested in and are currently working in that field. This is something that my psychologist made me do during my vocational guidance process, and it helps a lot. You can ask these people about their college experience, what are the possible career paths with this major, how an usual workday looks like for them, what they like about their job, what they don't like about their job. The questions are up to you and what you would like to know. But please be sure to really ask questions that can help you decide whether or not this major is the right fit for you. Next up, we have tip number 6. If you're able to, go see how working in your chosen field is like. And this one is a little bit related to the previous tip. Okay, if you're comfortable and if it is possible, ask the person you interviewed or someone else who works in the field you're interested in if you can tag along to their job for at least a day or a week and experience a little bit of what it's like to work in your chosen field. This can be really useful because this is not just someone describing it to you, you're actually experiencing it to an extent. Plus, you also get to see the more mundane stuff that maybe people don't tell you about during an interview. But if this is something you're not able to do, there are a lot of a day in the life of a blank that you can watch to get a feel of what it is like to work in any of your career options. Tip number 7 is to visualize your future self. What do you want to be able to do? And why? Where do you see yourself working? Is it indoors? Is it outdoors? What kind of activities do you see yourself doing on a daily basis? Do you see yourself constantly interacting with people, or do you see yourself mostly keeping to yourself? Try to really think about it and visualize yourself in the future. Try to visualize a life that you love living. For example, I'm going to study physiotherapy, and my why basically is I want to help people move better and have a better quality of life. I really can visualize myself helping people this way, and I usually daydream about it and it makes me smile. And I'm aware that not everything is going to be easy and perfect all the time. I know that there will be stressful and bad days. I know that there will be difficult patients to work with, but I see myself being happy to go to work, and that's what I want for my life. I don't want to dread going to work. I want to be able to enjoy what I do. And even though I'm an introvert, I can really see myself interacting with my patients and helping them. And sure, I might need to work on my social skills, but I'm willing to do it to be able to work as a physio. And this is just my personal example, but I hope it can help you understand what I mean with this tip. Okay, next tip is to remember that no matter what career you choose, there will always be something that is going to be difficult for you or that you don't like. For example, like I mentioned before, I'm more of an introvert, but I want to be a physio. And to be a physio, I have to interact with other people. And I can picture myself interacting with my patients and helping them, and I really want to be able to do that, and I'm willing to put in the work to be able to do it. And that is how I know that this is the career path for me. I am willing to put myself in a situation that is not necessarily pleasant for me in order to follow this path. So when you're choosing your career, think if you're willing to put yourself through that something, whatever it might be in your case, in order to follow that path. Tip number 9. Remember that you can always switch careers. It's okay to make mistakes. It's totally normal. It's part of being human. So if you're in college and you feel like the major you chose is not the right one for you, know that you can always switch it. Don't be afraid to do it. Know that you're not trapped in that major. It's not going to be easy, but you can always change directions. And please don't think of the time you spent in that other major as time lost, because like it or not, it taught you things. And you can always use that knowledge and those tools in whatever it is you want to do next. Change is scary, and like I said, it's not easy to change directions. It can feel risky or intimidating, but sometimes it is necessary. Sometimes we need to take that leap of faith. Okay, and the last tip I have for you is to simply be patient with yourself. To a lot of people, me included, choosing your career is not an easy decision, so it's totally normal for you to take some time to try and figure it out. Please remember that we all have our own time for things. So please be gentle with yourself and cut yourself some slack. Okay, so those are my tips. I really hope they're useful for you and that they can help you in some way to find the right major for you. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!